Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Slash Filmcast, the official podcast of SlashFilm.com. I'm David Chen, and with me are
Devindra Hardaway
and Jeff Kanata.
And today, what we're going to be doing is we have a very brief what we've been watching, diving straight into a review of John Wick, and then having a little kind of After Dark action. I mean, usually we release the After Dark as a separate episode, but we're just going to put it all in this episode, just talk about a variety of random topics, including your emails, which you can send to slashfilmcast@gmail.com. You can also find more episodes of the show at slashfilmcast.com. So let's dive into our review very soon. Before we do that, though, Jeff Kanata, I think you've been watching something this week, right?
No, nothing.
Jeff, this isn't what we discussed.
I have, actually. I've watched a movie that you brought up last week because you're producing it.
Correct. Layover, which you can find at layoverfilm.com and use promo code Filmcast to get it for $6. So what did you think, Jeff? Rip it to shreds for me.
You know what? The worst part is how it was produced. Really.
The worst part is when I came at the end of the credits, produced by Dave Chen came up, it really put a sour taste in my mouth.
You have to rate the level of sit, too. It's only appropriate.
This is an interesting movie, and I would love to hear more about what drew you to it and what you like about it and all those things. I can see why. I mean, my guess about why you're producing it is because this isn't the kind of movie that gets made. This is a tiny little delicate budding flower that needs to sort of be nurtured and
it needs to be
protected.
watered, and it needs a lot of sunlight. And, yeah.
There's nothing that screams movie about this. This is more just a sort of living with a character or a few characters for a short period of time and just sort of being with them. And in that way, I found it really beautiful. I found the performances to be really beautiful. It wasn't a complete home run for me. There isn't a lot that happens, honestly. These are the kind of movies that I really enjoy, however. They're very small, very contained. I once wrote a movie in my fresh from college days that structurally was very similar to this. It was just sort of like nothing much happens on this evening, but it kind of makes people think about what's going on. And so I'm sort of drawn to that. Characters just existing and thinking about life and being at a crossroads and coming to not really any big life moments. It's not a huge turning point. It's just those times that we all experience that are part of what constitute a life. And in that sense, I really found it beautiful and as I said, delicate and just a small character piece.
Yeah.
There are things about it that I found less than perfect. Are the filmmakers French?
No, they're not actually.
Well, it's interesting to me that I live in Los Angeles, and a lot of this movie, I'm assuming this was all guerrilla filmmaking.
Correct.
This was all stolen shots. Yeah.
Yep.
And it's amazing what was accomplished with very little. What's the word I'm looking for? The
budget?
No, but what it seemed like the budget was the money on the screen. Right. It's much higher than what you might think. The feeling you get.
Production values.
Production value. That's exactly what I was looking for. Yes, and that's a testament to really clever use of small resources and being bold about some choices. But as somebody who lives in Los Angeles, I certainly don't run into that many French-speaking people in one given day.
Well, maybe you got to open yourself up a little bit more. You got to be a little more multicultural, Jeff Kanata. Did you ever think of that?
I would like that. Perhaps were I French-speaking, people who speak French would seek me out. But I just found it a strange juxtaposition with like everyone seems to be able to speak French in LA, and that's not my experience while living here.
Okay, fair point. But there's a lot of movies that have very strange coincidences. So I didn't think that was an issue.
That's fine.
But so firstly, let me say, Jeff, thank you so much for checking out the movie. And I think everything you said seems right to me. It's a movie that it's not trying to say any grand sweeping things about humanity. It's just trying to show you these characters for a short amount of time. I think I was very impressed with the ingenuity behind it.
Yeah.
This idea that the writer and filmmaker, being not French, decided to set the film 80 to 90% in French.
But not in France.
But not in France.
Just in
So
French.
what is the mentality that goes into that? Like, that's what I was fascinated by that. And I do think it serves like a plot function. If the main character was a fluent English speaker, it would be a much different movie. I don't even think it would be a movie, right? It would just be this woman's adventures. But because she's French, there's this kind of danger, in my opinion, of like you have this fish out of water situation where you don't know what's going to happen next. You don't know if she's going to be okay, even in the situation she's in, or what's going to happen to her.
I'm really glad you said that, because that's really the problem that I had with her running into so many people that spoke her language. One character in particular that she runs into, this male character, I found to be too easy. Like I wanted there to be a communication barrier between the two of them, and I wanted her to have a little more of that danger and fish out of water quality, and not find this sort of refuge, this island in Los Angeles so easily. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's a fair point. It's a fair point. Aside from those things, I do want to say I think the film is actually quite beautiful, and being shot on a Canon 5D Mark II really impressed me. So
I agree.
I think that there's a lot of things that impressed me about it in terms of how, like, what he was able to accomplish with limited resources, and I just love the spirit behind it. This idea that you can go out there and call in a bunch of favors and use a single DSLR camera and make something that looks beautiful and might just comment on, your life in some way. Well,
there's a sequence in the movie that seems to me to be very autobiographical from the filmmaker, where you have one character who is a screenwriter talking about the kinds of movies he wants to make compared to the kinds of movies he can make for money.
Right.
And it seemed to me to be a real statement that this movie is the kind of movie that no one would finance.
Yeah.
There's nothing. There is no pitch for this movie. There is no. It's just this beautiful piece of cinema that is an expression of what movies can do, but isn't commercial. It isn't.
Right.
There's nothing commercial about it. So in that sense, I really admire it and really think it's a bold move, and it's wonderful that we live in a time when that's possible and is inexpensive enough to be able to be a reality.
Definitely. Mm-hmm. Well, thanks so much for checking it out, Jeff. And if you, the listener, would like to check it out and send in your reviews, some of you did actually, and I appreciate that. And they were not all positive. But you can do that at layoverfilm.com. Use the promo code Filmcast, and you can get the film for $6. DRM free. You can get an HD version and an SD version. So again, layoverfilm.com. Promo code Filmcast. Thanks so much for checking it out. We'll put a link to it in the show notes as well. We've talked before, Jeff, about kind of where we want our careers to go and kind of what it means to be a filmmaker these days. And it is, the more time we spend doing the Slash Filmcast, we've been doing this for I've been podcasting for almost 7 years at this point.
Too long.
Right, and the more we do it, the more I realize like how, especially in today's age, how monstrously difficult it is to get a film made. Mm-hmm. Particularly having seen, being someone who's involved with producing Layover and also making my own film this year, The Primary Instinct. I went to here's something that really should encourage me, but in fact is incredibly depressing. Okay, I'm going to tell you what it is. The iTunes movie section, right? You go to the iTunes movie section, they have a little section there called Indie Film. And it changes every week. And every week there's about, 10, 15 indie films there. They all look incredible. And they're there for, a very short period of time, and then they're gone. And it just goes to show that there is so much filmmaking, high-quality filmmaking going on right now. It's incredible, and it's like amazing that you can see everything, but the problem is once you make it, getting it seen is nigh impossible these days. Like you said, Jeff, there's no pitch for this movie. This is not a film that would likely get a theatrical distribution by anyone. So on the one hand, it's like we're in the land of plenty, but on the other hand, if you're a filmmaker, there's so much competition. There's so much product out there.
Yeah.
And
that's the double-edged sword of the internet and technology advancing to the point where everything's inexpensive and anybody can do it. And excuse me. And we face that as people who create content of any kind. There's so much anybody can create content, which is wonderful, but anybody can create content, so everybody does.
Yeah.
So it's a double-edged sword.
Definitely.
I heard a really interesting thing. I don't know if you guys listen to The Business, which is a wonderful show produced locally here in Los Angeles by our public radio station KCRW,
Yep.
Yeah,
but
sometimes,
is syndicated nationally. Yeah, there was an episode that I heard today interviewing producer Steven Schneider, the guy who produced Paranormal Activity and rocketed to wealth because he produced this movie that cost nothing and was a massive hit that spawned many sequels.
It wasn't nothing. I think it was like $10,000 to $15,000, but yes,
right. And it's hundreds of millions, and he crashed and burned. Kind of had a tough time. Had a drug problem. All these things. He was very honest about it in the interview. But one of the interesting things he said is, I would not recommend this business to anybody. He said it's impossible. It's an impossible business. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. And the host kind of laughed, as one does, and he goes, "I'm being absolutely serious." So but then he went on to say, if it's in your blood, if it's something you have to do, then by all means do it.
Yeah, well, I think that's good advice on a weekend where Ouija made $20 million. Plus, and that is just depressing. At the same time, great, small budget filmmaking there going on.
Yeah,
that movie was very
non-cynical view of this.
very cheap to produce. Very cheap to produce.
They clearly learned all the right lessons there from Paranormal Activity, right?
That's right.
Right.
I don't mean to. And let me just make clear. I'm not trying to say at all that. It sucks that everyone can make good stuff these days. I don't mean to say that. I just mean, when I'm thinking about how my movie is going to be seen by people, if it ever is, I go to the iTunes movie page and I'm like, oh my gosh. There are so many amazing movies by indie filmmakers. A, even getting on this page is going to take a ton of work. And B, even once we do, it's going to be gone in 2 weeks, and then people won't see it anymore. You know what I mean? Or it'll change over so quickly because of how much quantity is out, how much product is out there. So,
and the same is true for app developers and video game creators and podcasters, and it's just we're at that place where there's. It's easy to create, but hard to break through.
Definitely. So check out the movie at layoverfilm.com, promo code Filmcast. Anyway, Devindra Hardawar, I got an IM from you this past week. I think you said something along the lines of, I spent the evening with my face 4 feet away from Michael C. Hall's crotch. To which I said, is it Friday night already? Boom!
Oh.
Yeah.
That's called the Dexter Marathon.
That is a side of Dexter I did not plan to ever see, but there you go. I took my wife to see Hedwig and the Angry Inch the musical here in New York. It's been revived many times as a musical. This most recent one started with Neil Patrick Harris. Now it's up to Michael C. Hall, and kind of missed it with Neil Patrick Harris, but I was very glad to check this out with Michael C. Hall. It's just a ton of fun. Have you guys seen the movie or the musical at all?
I have seen the live version of it with local drag celebrity Jinx Monsoon.
Okay.
Jinx Monsoon.
Yeah,
that's a name,
and it was delightful.
That is a great name.
Yeah, there's actually a local Kickstarter documentary that's being produced called "Drag Becomes Her," which I thought was an awesome name for a documentary. But well, what did you think of what did you think of the version with Michael C. Hall?
Well, I love the show. I saw the movie a long time ago, and I just, the music was awesome. The show itself, the performance was just really well staged. But Michael C. Hall, just seeing him dancing around the scene and kind of screaming his lungs out is a ton of fun. Like Michael C. Hall as a glam rocker, I am totally down with that. But like a lot of these shows, right? They come off the stage, they do things with the audience, and the guy sitting in front of me, Michael C. Hall, just jumped on top of the arm handles and just started thrusting into his face. So I got a face full of Michael C. Hall that I did not ever expect to see. That was a lot of fun. The show is great.
More like
if you're in New York.
More like Michael Feel Hall. Am I right? Am I right, guys?
That was horrible. I thought you were going to go
right?
Michael C. Ball with that, actually.
There you go.
Probably would have been better.
I did see, a lot
Michael
of that.
Touch Hall? Should I have said Touch Hall?
But if you're in New York, it's a great show. It's a fantastic show, and he's just a lot of fun. I love him as an actor. He's always pushing himself and doing new things. So it was a great show. Just wanted to say
Cool.
that.
And where is this show, Devindra, for people in New York to see it?
It's here. It's on Broadway right now at the theater whose name I cannot remember right now. But the cool thing about being in New York, right, is that you can always see what new shows are playing because they just plaster the posters everywhere in the subway. So walking down, going to work one day, I just saw Michael C. Hall's Crazy Eyes with the Hedwig makeup, and I was like, I have to see this because he looks insane. Like there's always like a touch of evil to him in all of his roles, like a touch of madness, and I think that makes his stuff fantastic and kind of amazing. That's why he was so believable as Dexter. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. Do not remember the theater's name, but
I think
you
it's
could find
the
it.
Belasco Theater.
Yes, the Belasco.
Yeah, so
that sounds about right. But if you're in New York, if you're nearby, it's worth coming to check out. It's a fun show. One of the best experiences I've had on Broadway so far.
Cool. Well, that is Hedwig and the Angry Inch, and see it at the Belasco Theater. Just search on the internet to find tickets. Before we get to the review, I just wanted to mention stuff that I wanted to watch but didn't get to.
This is a new section.
This is a new segment. The only reason I mention it is just because I think it'd be relevant for people who are into Halloween, which is VHS Viral. The new VHS movie is available for rent on video on demand. Before it gets into theaters, you can see it on video on demand. And also the new ABCs of Death is out as well. And I've really been meaning to check these out. I've heard... I'll say mixed things about them, but I'm very much looking forward to them, and I think if people are into the horror film, what have you, the zeitgeist, they might want to check them out as well in time.
There's
for
at
Halloween.
least one segment I've seen in the VHS Viral trailer that looks kind of insane, but yeah, the rest I'm not sure about.
I saw a tweet by, I think it was Mike Eisenberg, saying how there's a segment from VHS Viral that is copied straight from Chronicle. Which I thought was it's interesting to see, like, whether it is a complete plagiarism going on there, or whether two people could have the same idea. I think the thing with Chronicle is it's like found footage, so which is also VHS's whole thing. So anyway, I will speak more about that when I've seen the film, which will hopefully be in the next week.
Not to reference the exact same show I just talked about, but also on the business podcast, he was talking about the next thing he's producing is this weird like documentary that also has narrative in it, but it's a horror film about people who make haunted houses. And they're real people, but then just at certain points they tweak it to make it a narrative and mess with the audience. But it's like 75% documentary, and he's trying to make it this new thing that's sort of tweaking found footage. So it's really not a written movie except for like 25%. Which is such a crazy idea.
That's weird.
It worries me that in pursuit of scaring people and in the everybody's carrying a camera in their pocket / YouTube / Facebook generation, you need to blur the lines so much between what is real and what is not. It's a little worrisome to me. Like I don't like the fact that we'll never be sure if what we're watching is legit anymore.
Well, I don't think that's a recent phenomenon, Jeff.
No, you're right.
That was
It
the
is
whole
not.
catfish thing. Yeah.
Catfish.
True.
I mean, even further back, Blair Witch Project. You
But
guys,
that's like-
you guys
that
might not
like
remember that.
spawned-
That whole marketing
I remember
campaign,
that.
was
I went
based
on
on the
opening weekend.
idea that movie was real, like real found footage.
Right.
Yeah, but
So-
that quickly
wasn't-
dissolved, and it
Yeah.
spawned an entire genre of those kinds of movies that we all knew weren't real, but were just sort of trying to. There was no pretense. That was the only time that there was that sort of pretense for a little while, and now these movies. I don't know. It's a little worrisome that these movies will be blurring the line even further. Most of it we didn't mess with. I mean, I guess that's called reality television anyway.
Yeah.
So
or the Coen Brothers Fargo. I just feel like it
Inevitable.
happens all the
Yeah.
time.
the Coen Brothers Fargo.
It's not. It doesn't worry me. But let's wait and see what happens with that film that you're describing, and then we can decide to get our things in a bunch.
Yeah. Speaking of Paranormal Activity, by the way, whatever happened to Oren Peli's next film? He was doing an Area 51 movie.
Yeah,
right?
no, that
And,
movie. I don't think that movie's ever going to be
man,
seen.
I want to see that.
That it was made, I believe, but
Yeah.
it's. I don't think it's ever going to be released. So, anyway, Well, that took a little longer than I thought it would, but let's move on from what we've been watching into our review of John Wick.
Nice ride.
Thanks.
How much?
Excuse me?
How much for the car?
She's not for sale.
You have good day, sir.
Daisy. I lost everything. That dog was a final gift from my dying wife.
Jonathan, you got out once. You dip so much as a pinky back into this pond, you may find something reaching out to pull you back in. It's personal.
Where'd you get that car? What does it matter?
It's not what you did, son. It's who you did it to.
Nobody?
But nobody. Is John Wick.
That was from the trailer of John Wick, the newest film by directors David Leitch and Chad Stahelski. Chad Stahelski, when I saw the movie and the director credit came up, it just said director Chad Stahelski. But apparently he co-directed it with David Leitch. And it was written by Derek Kolstad and stars Keanu Reeves. Chad Stahelski, if you look at his IMDb, over 70 credits as a stunt coordinator or stunt person or action choreographer. This is his directorial debut. Mm-hmm. And this is not a movie that people expected was going to do really well. I think tracking had it at about $8 million. It did very, very well. It made over $15 million, thereabouts.
It opened on freaking IMAX screens, too, which is kind of crazy.
That's what I saw it on, too.
Yeah, and it stars Keanu Reeves, Michael Nyqvist, Alfie Allen, Willem Dafoe. And, it's pretty interesting. This movie premiered at Fantastic Fest a couple months ago and got rave reviews from critics. But Keanu Reeves, I've recently learned from everything I've read about him, people are not so sure about his box office prospects. 47 Ronin was a notorious disaster of a film directed by Carl Rinch. Cost over $100 million and completely bombed at the box office.
Too many Ronin.
Apparently it was like
should have gone with like 43 or 44 Ronin. Wouldn't have been a problem.
I agree. And so that movie didn't do well. And so a lot of the movies he's done recently are just indie films. Man of Tai Chi, Henry's Crime. These are movies that aren't huge budget movies and didn't cost that much to make. And as a result, weren't seen by that many people, but they have their fans. I know we're kind of fans of Man of Tai Chi on the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the last studio movie he really did was The Day the Earth Stood Still in 2008, which did okay at the box office.
We reviewed it, yeah.
Yeah, and
I
so
remember that too.
Yeah, so anyway, people are framing this John Wick movie as his kind of comeback. Like, whoa, because this movie made $15 million, Keanu Reeves is back, baby.
You did say whoa just now.
So, Jeff Kanata, do you think this is a movie that shows that Keanu Reeves is back? Do you think that it's worthy of its kind of designation as a box office comeback?
Yeah, possibly. I was very impressed with him physically in the film. He famously did a lot of his own stuff in the Matrix films. And it seems to me, it certainly looked like he did a lot of his own stuff here. And this is what, 50-year-old man?
Yes.
50 years old,
He looks amazing at 50 years old.
And
he looks better at 50 than I do decades younger than him. So that is depressing.
Well, he does a lot of very physical things in this movie, and it's not just looking good. It's moving well and executing very exquisite fight choreography here, which is really impressive. And if that brings him back, then I say I'm all for it. I don't think his. I say that, and then I will also say I think he was miscast in this movie. I wish this movie is basically Red, the comic book, the Warren Ellis comic book, not the film version of Red, which turned it into a comedy. But Red, the comic book, is the baddest ass motherfucker in the world. Just got pulled out of retirement, and everyone's upset about that. And that's basically this movie as well. I never, ever, ever at any point in this movie look at Keanu Reeves and go, that's the baddest ass motherfucker walking the planet. There are people who I think you could have cast who I would have thought that about. That would have been, I think, would have added an edge to this movie that would have been really interesting. One name that comes to mind that I think would have been a really bold, interesting choice if you set aside certain things, and that's Mel Gibson. I think Mel Gibson would have been amazing. But
he already made that movie, though.
Yeah,
that's true. He did make that movie.
What was it?
Several times.
Edge of something. Edge of Forever.
Yeah,
Edge of Darkness.
Edge of Darkness.
Edge of Darkness.
Which is a great movie.
This is the movie. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
the movie I wish Edge of Darkness was actually.
Yeah, I'd say that.
Yeah.
Well,
his career is built on these sorts of movies too, by the way. So,
but I think that someone like that who just looks dangerous all the time, you know, and I think
he's not Liam Neeson-y enough for you, Jeff.
No, you know, honestly,
Yeah.
he did a great job, and I can't.
Yeah.
You know, I just think I would have cast someone who never has there been a character better introduced in the, you know, there is such a over the top crazy introduction to him being a badass in this movie that you get one character giving a soliloquy about how badass he is, intercut with Keanu sledgehammering the ground, and I kept thinking
symbolism.
We didn't earn this. We didn't earn this. You know, like I get it. I get what you're doing, but you didn't. It's anyway. Here's my real.
Kind of makes me wish Frank Grillo was a bigger star, because this would have been the perfect, like, this would have been his transporter if he was cast in something like this.
Yeah, there's a lot of actors I think would have brought that to it. Here's my real review of this movie, though, and I hesitate to say this, but I think this is a really effective action movie. I didn't enjoy it. I really didn't. And it has more to do with me than it does with the movie. And I, again, hesitate to say this because I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of feedback for it. But
Jeff Kanata's pro puppy killing.
Yes. No, I mean, this is a movie, and I'm having a hard time enjoying these kinds of movies now that just fetishize guns. It's like there are several scenes in this movie where we pull back a cabinet and it's just all the guns. And we as the audience are supposed to just salivate and look at those guns and just feel a boner, you know? Like it's supposed to be America, fuck yeah. And I just can't. A few years ago, I was, man, Rambo, give me, I mean, that's more than a few years ago, but even in the mid 90s, even the Matrix movies when I need guns and then walls of guns go up. Yeah, awesome. Yeah. Not anymore.
But also in that movie, those guns, were all make-believe too. So you had that extra element here, whereas this is supposedly a real world. I don't know.
This is extraordinarily brutal. Brutal. Keanu shoots people in the face. Not from 20 feet away in the face because he's so good at it, although he also does that.
Yes.
He also mostly shoots them point blank in the face over and over and over. And while I can appreciate the choreography and the execution of these really cool action sequences, there's stuff I've never seen before, stuff that's really well done and just exquisitely brought together as far as a sequence goes. The world is in a place where I have a hard time enjoying a guy who is clearly a psychopath. Like, there's nothing about this guy. It's like, separate a psychopath from his puppy and bad things happen. And it's like, he's supposed to be doing it for his wife. And I kept thinking, there's no way she was going to have a good relationship with this psychopath because he's a terrible human being. And I just don't enjoy guns anymore. And I'm sorry. And I apologize to everyone. I think a lot of people are going to really love this movie. I just couldn't.
Yeah,
we're in a really weird time for gun violence.
Yeah. So firstly, you're talking to someone who lives in a state where there was a school shooting a few days ago,
right,
which was pretty intense. And then and tragic. And this morning, they had to evacuate a school that was literally, I can see the school from where I'm sitting right now. Because
you'll always sit outside a school.
Because a child brought in a Molotov cocktail, which is nuts. That's nuts.
Where does a child get Molotov this time of year?
So, Jeff, for someone who just gave us a really serious talk, you're really taking this lightly. Yeah, and I think the first time it really got to me, the dynamic you're describing really got to me was when we saw that horrible film, The Watch, directed by Akiva Schaffer in 2012. That movie was released 1 week after the Aurora shooting that took place during a midnight screening of The Dark Knight Rises. And in the movie The Watch, I think Jonah Hill plays kind of a antisocial shut-in of sorts, who, towards the end of the film, kind of pulls out this gigantic gun collection. And, the audience is supposed to be like, oh, haha, that's hilarious. But in fact, it struck, for me at least, it, was very troubling to see that a week after someone who might have been similar to that character actually perpetrated real-life horrific violence. So I understand your reaction completely, Jeff. I think the only way I would say to quote-unquote enjoy the movie, if that is on your mind, for me, I just thought the movie is so outright ridiculous. Like, it takes place in this complete, like, alternate universe.
It's a comic book,
in my opinion. Yeah,
it is a comic book. If you had put a skull on his chest, it would have been the Punisher movie.
Yes.
Right, exactly.
There's no difference between this character and the Punisher.
Right, exactly right. So, and there's all these kind of fantastical elements, the mythology of John Wick, the hotel that he stays at, I thought was really fascinating.
The world building is so great.
Yeah, some great world building going on there. So,
and yet the violence is so brutal.
Is it though? I mean, just the idea that you're right. It's very bloody and lots of people are murdered. But firstly, a lot of it is played for laughs. So you can interpret it in whatever you can. That either makes it more egregious for you or it makes it more okay for you, right? But there is a lot of the action that is clearly meant to provoke like an audience pleasing reaction. But also, yeah, the idea that every single shot is a headshot, I just thought was so. It got to the point where it was ridiculous to me. Like it just is like, okay, clearly no one is that good, and the idea that every single shot is perfectly placed got to the point where it became kind of like its own parody in a way that I enjoyed. I was able to kind of let go of any preconceived notions of reality and the potential cultural commentary that this movie is making and just kind of enjoy the film. But that was me, and I understand if you can't.
I think a lot of people will be able to.
Right, true enough. So Devindra, were you able to?
Yeah, I think I was able to. And you know what, Jeff? I hear you, because we are in a really weird time. I honestly think like our country is not doing a great job of handling gun distribution and managing gun violence too. So yeah, I totally hear you. But honestly, I think for me, like a film like Lone Survivor is almost more worrying, because yes, that's a real thing that happened. But oh my God, it uses all this imagery and the weaponry to really tell a far more. Like it's trying to tell you a specific story and trying to get you to feel a specific way.
That's based on a true. That's quote unquote based on true events. You know, what
right?
I mean? Yeah.
But also, that is also there's like so much jingoism involved there. There's so much like nationalist rah 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 around that movie. Whereas something like this, I could just put it aside as like a comic book type thing and enjoy that. So I think on that level, I was totally fine with it. And yeah, I enjoyed the hell out of this movie.
I just prefer my comic books with shields and hammers. That's all I want to say.
There you go.
rather than guns. But go ahead.
But yeah, you're right. He is basically the Punisher, right? Like there are a lot of ideas lifted from other worlds. I think there's a lot of like the Wanted comic book a bit in here too, just in the way they like built up the world. It's a lot of fun. I think Reeves is probably not the best guy for this role, but without him starring, this movie probably wouldn't have been made either. Like you probably needed somebody like Kim there, but I think he does a serviceable job. It's almost funny how it's like I feel like it's revenge of the sad Keanu meme, right? Because the first 20 minutes of this movie is just like sad Keanu. Like he has a theme song almost. Like his wife dies, sad Keanu. He gets a puppy, the puppy dies, sad Keanu. They took his car, sad. And that's the whole setup for this movie. And then the shit hits the fan, and I think it's kind of glorious. I do think the action is really interesting, really creative. It definitely goes perhaps a little too over the top sometimes. It reminded me a lot of what they did, what Kurt Wimmer did with Equilibrium.
Yeah,
and
a lot of gun kata style gunfights in this. Where
a lot of that.
Right.
But the cool thing about gun kata, or at least that movie, was everything was done also to service efficiency, right? Supposedly, right? That was the martial arts idea there. Whereas this one, they're clearly like just inefficient. There are a lot of like flowery things he does just for the hell of it. Like he's going to hook a guy's head with his knee or something and then like, continue shooting another dude and then finish off the guy he's holding. There's a lot of stuff that's really flowery and that maybe I think it gets to the point where it feels like it's taking away from the fun. And I think by the time you get to the end of the movie, which is just like there's straight action all the way throughout, it gets a little exhausting. Maybe the people who fell asleep with the Raid 2 or who just couldn't take that amount of action, I could see them having a similar response to this. But the action is so much fun when it does work. It's really creative. I think the way it's shot and everything's blocked out is really well done too, because you don't really see this in an action film too much. Is every angle change, every new camera angle is just there to show you more action and cooler action.
Well, here's the thing. Is we've heard from people before about how, when you do jump cuts or shaky cam editing for the action scenes, you are doing a disservice to the stunt people who choreograph this and who put their body on the line to do this. And of course, this movie is directed by a stunt person. And not surprisingly, the shots, the action scenes are shot amazingly. Like you can tell where everyone is in relation to each other. When people are like flipping over onto tables or doing something dangerous, like you really, it holds on that shot. It doesn't cut away. Like you really get an appreciation for the stunt work in this film, probably because it was made by a stunt person. So
yeah, they understand it. And honestly, like you do hear that a lot too about how cutting away is bad for action. Honestly, go back and watch a lot of your favorite kung fu movies, and there's a lot of cutting there too, but it's very efficient and it cuts to show you the action in a better way, right?
It doesn't cut to create a mood; it cuts to show you better what you're looking at. Yeah. Right.
The argument against fast cutting is to avoid like Michael Bay strobe action syndrome or something, and that's a whole different thing. That's totally not there in this movie. I also think it's really funny too. It made me think about. You know how we talk about eye lines, and in filmmaking, like that's a thing to make sure that the characters are. It shows the characters. It lets them demonstrate like who they're thinking about or who they're like trying to focus on, and that's a really powerful thing in some movies, in dramas especially. Like the eye line is just a very simple way to communicate, and this movie really shows the effectiveness of action lines. I guess like the moment from where somebody pulls a trigger to the effect it causes on a victim, that's all shown in a really clear way, which is I feel like that's rare. We don't see that enough in action filmmaking today. The Raid does a lot of that, although I think the Raid 2 even got a little confusing and choppy at points. So I think on a technical level, I really respect this movie. I really love the world building too. The idea that there are these there's a number you can call to have certain services done. The payment. Yeah, the hotel thing is great. The payment mechanism for all these things, the way that everybody, there's this hotel that there are just certain rules that everybody abides by. I find that really fun. So yeah, I really enjoyed the movie. It's definitely a little too repetitive when it comes to some of the action, but I was totally fine with that. But I think I admire it more than I actually think it's a great movie or something. I love action movies. I'm an action geek, and I love to see great choreography. So this sort of thing just is right for me.
Yeah, I thought the movie was a solid B movie. Nothing more, nothing less. It's very slight. The plot is really, really thin. Really thin.
Although the setup, I think I admire them for at least going with that.
It's
for a
the
while.
barest premise for a movie.
Puppy revenge movies, we do not see enough of those.
I think that's the gag. I think the gag is what is the. It's funny that I already brought up Mel Gibson, but there's that Mel Gibson movie where he's after like $147 or whatever it is, and he does, and people keep trying to give him more money, and it's all he wants is on, I can't remember how much exactly, but it's a small amount. I think the joke here is how little it takes to set off this psychopath.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with you guys. Pretty much everything. Love the action in this movie. It's very creative. Virtually every scene kind of shows you something in a different way or in a way that you haven't seen before, really, which I think is very difficult. And so, overall, I'm a fan. I enjoyed it. I kind of agree with Jeff, though. I think the first 20 minutes, certainly, before Keanu starts doing anything from an action perspective, it was a really hard sell that he's a badass. Really hard sell.
Well, there's a lot of crying. There's a lot.
Yeah, I just thought to myself, I'm not buying that this guy is like a threatening, ominous presence.
I love the reaction to everybody else. Like once you start to see, once things start building up, like John Leguizamo's like, "Whose car is this?" He's like, "Oh shit!" And then the father calls.
Everyone did a great job of selling the idea that he's a
and I kind of like that. I think I like that more than, whatever vision of, Keanu being the ultimate badass. But I think, first of all, the supporting actors, I think, are great throughout. This is the most fun I've had with Michael Nyqvist as an actor because he kind of did this similar thing in Ghost Protocol. Yeah. And he was just kind of a cipher there. There was just nothing going on with their character, whereas this one's like he can really sink his teeth into the role because there's a lot more to it.
Jeff, were you going to say something?
There's a big soliloquy, as I referenced before, convincing us of how crazy and awesome Keanu is. And at one point, the guy goes, "I saw him kill 3 men with a pencil." And I was like, I've seen that in like 6 movies. That's not impressive. I think we could have come up with something more outrageously amazing that he did. Don't you think, guys? Yeah. No?
My only complaint...
Riddick killed the guy with a teacup, as you all remember. Come on.
Right.
My only complaint about this movie is... I loved every action scene. It just felt like, oh my gosh, wow. Here he's in a new place and there's like 50 guys, and wow, he's in another place and there's like 8 guys and he has different weapons this time. And the only thing I will say is that the ending was a bit of a letdown. I mean, there's some cool stuff in that ending, but it's not you expect for a movie like this, you want it to build up to something OMG so spectacular. You have to see it for the ending, and I just don't think they lived up to it here. So,
are we going to do spoilers for this movie? Because
I don't know.
I
if
have
that's
a specific
necessary.
thing I'd like to say about the ending, but
okay.
We don't have
maybe
to.
Maybe a bit. I do like. There's stuff about the ending I do want to mention.
Well, as much as
hold on, wait. So the only other thing I want to say before we get to spoilers is just that I thought the score and soundtrack was great. I just thought it's pretty badass.
It was good to a point, except they kept using it.
They did use the same song over and over again, but
it's a very didactic song too.
it's very on the nose. But I did like the whole nightclub scene and just the way it's shot with the kind of graphics going on behind him. Oh my gosh, just an amazingly shot, amazing sound design. So, all right. Any other thoughts before we get to spoilers, or shall we do spoilers right now?
Well, I'm glad that Adrienne Palicki, by the way, is still doing action movies and doing a great job of them. She is awesome. I'm glad to see her in more stuff after Friday Night Lights.
As much as we talked about how this is a comic book movie, I think it's also a video game movie.
Oh, yeah.
And I've spent many hours on video game podcasts talking about the problem with creating a sympathetic main character that you play, for example, in the Uncharted games, where then you slaughter hundreds of people on your way to saving 2, and I think this is, and we talk about that as in terms of saying this would never work in a movie. And then here we go. Here's this. This is the movie. This is the movie that takes video game logic of the world, which is slaughter everyone in your path, murder that they're just fodder for you to shoot your guns at them.
We've seen it in a lot of movies too. This isn't the only one to do.
But okay, there's a scene. Yeah, there's a scene in this movie at the nightclub that I was just talking about that feels like it was straight out of a video game in the sense that he's trying to pursue this one character.
It's Max Payne.
He's just killing tons of characters on the way, and the one character that he's trying to get always seems just slightly out of reach, just like in a video game. Yeah. Some rubber banding action going on there, as they call it. So, anyway, let's move on into spoilers for John Wick. Stay tuned afterwards for our discussion of your emails.
Now you're looking for the secret.
You're going to see this coming.
No. But you won't find it because, of course,
you're not going to see this coming.
You're not really looking.
I have been puzzling over how it works.
You don't really want to work it out.
Who's in the box?
I have been dying to tell you.
I want to tell you my secret.
You want to be fooled.
So I'll make this quick. In the same way that this is very much a video game movie, you have to have the final boss fight for some reason, even though he's not the most dangerous guy,
Right.
which I thought was
Yeah.
ridiculous. And I agree with you, the ending was a letdown. It was particularly a letdown because at a certain point toward the end, I thought that they were going to do something absolutely extraordinary, which is have us see the death of our main character at the beginning of the movie and let our main character walk off into the sunset at the end of our movie. And it's, do you know what I'm talking about? You could have a situation where the end of the movie is him walking away injured, and we know that he gets into that car and drives off and dies later, but because that's not how movies end, we don't see that. But how movies begin, the movie begins with giving the information for the end, which would have been really cool and structurally awesome and daring, and yet they totally fucking cop out and have him buy a dog, and it's like, oh, so you slaughtered hundreds of people, and you could have just bought a new dog? All you needed was to buy a new dog, everybody. So
Well,
dogs
he had
are
to get it out
replaceable.
of his system.
Well, exactly right. Yeah, what Devindra said, he had to get it out of his system. Jeff, jeez.
Well, I'm glad he worked through
The
that.
dead dog was the straw that broke the camel's back, right?
Yeah.
Because he was
Broke
he's a
1,000
killer, right?
camels.
He's a mass murderer who's dealing with grief, and he doesn't know what to do. He's not going to go to counseling, but his dog dies, and the beast is out. What are you going to do? He has to do his thing. What I love about the ending, by the way, is that after a certain point, right, Michael Nickfist he gives him his son's information. He knows, John Wick is going to kill his son, but there's also like the side of him is just like, well, he killed my son. Now I got to go back and kill him. And it's this whole thing, and we got to go back and forth. I love the inevitability.
I mean, who can
of
make
the
the
final
schlep,
Right. But I love the inevitability of the conflict. Like they're driving away to the helicopter at one point. He's like, fuck it. It's like, and we know what's going to happen here. Like, and he's just enjoying like John Wick trying to take down their car and having a lot of fun with it. That was just like a really interesting like meta commentary on the villain's role in these types of movies. But of course, I don't think they went as far as they could with it. That would have been really interesting.
I just think that you guys get what I'm talking about. Like,
Yeah.
how Quentin Tarantino did that in Pulp Fiction, where you get to see Travolta's character, in his own story, walk off into the proverbial sunset, right? But in reality, he dies in this really inglorious way, and we see that later in someone else's story, but it doesn't adversely affect the story that we saw. And they could have done the same thing, where at the beginning you have this really cool kickoff of this guy, and that's his last moment, is watching that video and dying. But instead we come back to it, and it completely steals any emotional impact it had at the beginning, because it's like, oh, I'm about to die. No, I think I'll get up and go over here and look for stuff. It's like there was nothing important about that moment at all.
The dog is his soul, Jeff. The dog is his soul, and he got it back.
Oh, that's the other part of the movie that really pissed me off, is that we really need him to spell out to the bad guy, my wife gave me that dog. Like, we get it.
Jeff,
The audience gets it. We don't need you to tell us.
The dialogue in the movie is pretty uniformly terrible, in my opinion. So I don't know
That
why
was
that
a
bothered
particularly
you.
egregious moment.
It's horribly written. But I love every bad guy's response. It's like, dude, get another dog. Like, the villains are responding to the way I think a normal person would respond to somebody's dog dying. It's like, really, let this go. Like, is it really worth potentially dying and all this? So I love that they're aware of how ridiculous this is too.
That dog was a hope.
Deeper, like Batman voice.
Hope.
All right, guys. Are we good? Shall we wrap it up?
I'm good. I do want to say, like, in terms of this overall narrative, I am kind of tired of dead wife, syndrome. That is something video games have copped to. That's something too many movies have done. This movie one-ups it with dead dog. But
we're about to see, from what I understand from the trailer of Taken 3, we're about to see that play out again for real this time. And by
Did
for
they
real,
take his dog in that one?
I mean with Liam Neeson. So
Is that true? They take his dog this time?
no, that's not true.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
They took my goldfish, and I have a particular set of skills.
I'm really looking forward to Taken 3, actually.
Why?
Taken 2 was terrible.
It was horrible.
Has Olivia Megaton's entire career not steeled you for this? Like,
Yeah,
come on.
that's the thing, and
Transporter 3, Come on,
it was
Dave.
so bad. And that's the thing is this movie is so much better than the films. Okay, you
Yes.
might say, oh, this isn't a very good film, but it's so much. Cast@gmail.com. And we got a bunch of emails this week. So here, let's keep this. Here's an email from a longtime listener from Brito Moller from Norway. He would like to open your eye. I'm going to quote here. He'd like to open our eyes to this TV show, Utopia. Cannot believe you haven't been talking about the show, and you really should. The cinematography is excellent, and the story is even better. I have not even started with the soundtrack. It's all epic stuff. Keep up the good work. Have you guys heard of the show, Utopia?
Yeah, I've heard.
Oh, yeah, it's the one with Spielberg produced it, right? With Holly Berry? Or is that thinking
No,
of something
that's
else?
Extent.
Oh, yes. Pardon me. Go ahead.
Nor are we talking about the television series Utopia on Fox right now either. We're talking about the British TV series Utopia, a British crime thriller drama action series.
Ooh, sounds like my cup of tea.
Yeah, and I've heard great things about it. Haven't had a chance to check it out, but
There's too much TV, guys. It's
I agree.
tough. Yeah.
I agree. That's why when people say you should be watching Arrow and you should be watching Flash and all these things, and I watch a couple and it's like, if it's not great, if it's not AAA, then I don't have time.
That's why I can't watch those shows. Whereas The Affair is like, guys, everybody watch that.
Yeah, I mean,
Very good is not strong enough anymore. There's just too much great.
I am 2 episodes into The Affair, and I'm enjoying it quite a bit. Anyway, Utopia is a series that aired on Channel 4. I think you can find region-free Blu-rays on the internet. Man, that is a horrible cover, though. I'm looking at it right now. It looks terrible. But I've heard the show is great, so I am looking forward to checking that out. Hopefully Hulu will pick it up at some point. Okay, what else do we got here in terms of emails? Again, you can always email us at /filmcast@gmail.com. So we got an email we got a bunch of emails about Fury. We'll get to that at the end of the show because we got to spoil Fury to talk about those. All right, this email comes in from Grayson from North Carolina. Love the show. I'm a longtime listener since 2006, which is not possible because the show didn't exist back then.
Maybe he was listening for it.
I wasn't even podcasting at that. I literally had never recorded a podcast before 2006. So really enjoyed the discussion about HBO, Netflix, and unbundling. Wanted to mention something I didn't hear you guys take into consideration. It definitely seems like we're heading towards having multiple subscription accounts to different content providers per households. And yes, that will probably lead to the same amount of monthly subscription money as bundled cable or satellite. Now, if content providers allow for true monthly subscriptions, though, then you'll have the flexibility to add a service one month and drop it the next month to keep your bills down. I've already done this where I put my Netflix account on hold one month to catch up on something only Hulu Plus had. So the future might look more like this month I have subscriptions to Netflix and HBO. Next month I drop it to get CBS to catch up on The Big Bang Theory, which is the only reason I can see for wanting a CBS subscription. Which
The Good Wife. The Good Wife.
Let's pretend you said The Good Wife. And the next month I cancel it to get Hulu Plus. Anyway, really like the discussion. Just wanted to mention that unbundling might provide some opportunity for cost savings by letting us add and drop services as we want them.
Grayson, you're going to be the only person doing that.
Yeah.
I applaud you for doing that. That's cool, but no one else is going to do that.
And the
No one else
reason is
around
because
$10,
it's a huge pain in the ass, right?
Right.
Because
is.
people are lazy, and it's easier to just pay $8 than to cancel your Netflix and reactivate it next month.
That's why millions of people are still subscribed to AOL dial-up. Like, you know.
Right. AOL dial-up. I mean, and also there was this phenomenon back when Netflix DVD was a thing where you would have Netflix DVDs on your shelf for months. I had one for 13 months, I think.
Yeah.
That's
not something to be proud of.
That's
I
when
had
you give
La
up on
N,
DVDs,
La N, which is actually a great film that I ended up watching.
I have friends that have been subscribed to World of Warcraft for multiple years without playing the game.
God.
Because it's just it's so hard to unsubscribe.
That's like $20 a month or something?
Yeah, it's 15.
That's insane.
It's insane.
What?
It's insane. This is the world we live in, people. This is the land of plenty where it's too difficult to not pay for something.
Jeez.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a land of plenty. It's just is a pain in the butt to unsubscribe to things.
This is how Rome fell, guys.
Exactly. First they came for our Netflix.
I think you were mixing.
I'm messing up that
metaphors.
A whole different thing.
Yeah,
Right.
It's a whole different.
Four score and set. No.
Devindra, I think you wanted to talk about these Blu-rays.
These Blu-rays.
So on slashfilm.com we have a post right now called Gallery 1988 does Blu-ray covers for 16 classic Sony films. And these are awesome.
They're great.
Blu-ray covers.
Yes, there's some good stuff here, like new Blu-ray covers for Superbad, The Fifth Element, Drive, Leon, Desperado, a whole bunch of movies. My big issue, though, is I own most of these movies, and this is his first world problem, as they come, but I love these movies, and I kind of like movie stuff. I like to get posters and whatnot when I can, and I'm really tempted to rebuy just to get one of these new covers, and even though there's nothing new on the disc. So, I'm just wondering, guys, what is a rebuy?
What does
what
it
is it
do?
worth
So,
it?
these covers are amazing. You can apparently pre-order them from BestBuy.com. Oh my gosh.
The Desperado one I dig. The Leon one, oh man.
Drive and Fifth Element. Superbad is actually really good as well. They're all good, to be honest with you.
And they're all reasons for you to pay full price for a DVD, right? For movies that you could probably get for under $10 now on Blu-ray. So it's smart. It's a really interesting business move, but they're also they look really cool too. So
I will say this Kung Fu Hustle one, I know what it's referring to, but that is a bizarre cover.
Oh man, yeah.
Anyway, so
which do you think is the best one, guys?
Out of all these,
I know that Karate Kid is pretty great.
The Fifth Element one I really dig.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah,
and the Desperado one, that is the
I actually like
looking.
Snatch as well here.
Really? Yeah. Easy Rider, dude. It's so good.
Yeah.
So anyway, the thing is, when you create a new cover that is so cool, and you have people who are used to seeing cool covers even awing over them, it's a smart move. But I feel
what is your criteria for rebuying? I haven't rebought a Blu-ray. I don't think I've ever rebought a Blu-ray actually.
But you've rebought movies on Blu-ray that you want on DVD, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So here's something that I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jeff. You go.
I was just gonna say you're gonna put these on a shelf, spine out, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like people are even gonna see these.
Yeah, it's true.
But it starts a whole new trend.
But I mean, you're talking to someone. You're talking to someone who has probably at least 20 unopened Blu-rays on his shelf. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you have any?
Me too.
Do you have any unopened, Jeff?
I have a whole bunch too.
I have stopped getting Blu-rays.
Yeah,
I have a very small shelf of Blu-rays at this point, and just stopped.
Here's what I'm struggling with. Okay, here is the thing I'm struggling with that's really dumb, and I shouldn't be struggling with it, but I nonetheless am. I don't think this has actually happened yet, but I fear it one day may happen, where I will buy a digital version of something that I have the Blu-ray for,
because it's easier,
just for the convenience of it, right?
Yeah.
Just because it's easier to put a movie on my phone.
Couch.
That'll be
no, not even about the couch.
Such a good sit right now. I don't want to mess with that.
Not even a Blu-ray. Just or not even a couch situation. Just like if I want to take. So Amazon has these cool apps on mobile devices where you can download the movie onto the device and bring it with you. Do you know what I mean? And so if I'm going on a plane or I take the bus to and from work every day, So it's a consideration. Now, I don't think I've actually done that yet. I haven't actually bought a digital version of something that I already own on Blu-ray. But
I've done that for some TV shows, though, for The Simpsons, because I want certain episodes. Just I want to watch them. I want to watch them at some point. I'm just sitting on the couch, and I don't want to go dig out the box set of TV episodes and whatnot.
Yeah. So anyway, criteria for rebuying. Do you have any?
New features, better quality. I think we've seen. I just rebought Ghostbusters. I think for the I've bought Ghostbusters on Blu-ray a couple times because there was one restore that was good a couple years ago, and then this new 25th anniversary, or I forget which anniversary.
I bought it the first time because of that awesome commentary track that they did originally, which was so cool. I was sort of you could see the shadows of them and everything.
The new one is the 4K restoration, which looks amazing. But I bought it again. So it's happened for particular reasons.
What's not a reason for rebuying? The cover of the box, at least for me.
But these covers,
they're awesome. I would buy them as posters.
Yeah.
But I don't think.
Even though they would cost more as posters than maybe even buying the Blu-ray would. I think, quality is a big one. If they're restoring a movie, for instance, I have this DVD of the 25th Hour. It looks horrible. It's so bad I couldn't even get through it. Like, that's how bad it looked. Super grainy, horrible transfer. I don't think that movie's out on Blu-ray yet. I don't know if it ever will be out on Blu-ray. But if it got on Blu-ray, I'd probably buy it because I need a better looking version of that movie. So I'm now seeing, actually, I'm looking on the internet for it. I now see there is a Blu-ray in the Spike Lee joint collection, Volume 1. Maybe I should check that out. It came out a few months ago. It's 25th Hour and He Got Game. So yeah, maybe I'm going to double dip based on what we talked about in this podcast. But yeah, if it's a movie that has never had a good transfer and now suddenly does, that's something that would cause me to rebuy probably.
You know what'll be interesting is, like, at some point I'm sure Apple or Amazon or somebody's going to be like, you buy a movie digitally with us and we will upgrade the video quality. Like, when there's a 4K version of the movie, you own it. You'll get the 4K version of the movie. And I think that'll be the tipping point for a lot of collectors too. Because
do you think they'll do that, or do you think they'll be like, "Hey, we get to sell you it again at 4K"?
Yeah, probably the latter.
We'll see. I mean, that's probably how it's going to end up. But I'm sure there's going to be a good upgrade path. Like, there's an opportunity there to do something really interesting and creative for that upgrade path that I think is going to get the enthusiasts really interested in using your service. And then, if you start buying a bunch of movies on iTunes because you figure they're going to get upgraded to 4K eventually, you'll just start buying more on iTunes or whatever. Like, it's a slippery slope, and you probably want to get people on that as quickly as possible. Yeah.
I hope you're right. I suspect that the cynical side will win out. But because, I think a lot of these companies see these format upgrades as a way to reinvigorate their back catalogs. It's like all these things that people already bought, they're going to buy again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that has to change at some point.
I hope.
Well, I think we're getting away from ownership completely. Like, Blu-ray as a format.
I certainly am.
Blu-ray as a format, has not succeeded. It has not succeeded to the extent that people want. It has not replaced DVD as a major source of back-end revenue.
Sure.
Well, that was what I was going to ask you, Dave, when you said, I have to have a better version of 25th Hour. Is that because you love this movie and you want to have it in its best format, or because you watch that movie from time to time?
Why are those different? I don't understand.
Because I own several movies that I bought because I have a relationship to the movie. I don't watch them. I don't watch them. I don't need to own them and that's the realization I came to, is I don't need to own these Blu-rays because chances are I'm going to watch something that I haven't never seen, because there's a ton of stuff I haven't seen, and I'm not going to go back and watch that movie from my shelf because I know I've always got it and I can watch that anytime. So it's just this weird collector / enthusiast association I have with this piece of content that I want to be the kind of person that owns it, rather than someone that bought something because I need to enjoy it over and over.
Right. And for me, I guess it's similar to that. And it's the idea of knowing I could watch it at any time.
Exactly. Yeah. But you don't, right? You don't go, I have these movies that I own that I haven't watched in 5 years. Why do I need to own that? I don't.
Yeah. It depends, right? Because not everything's available on digital. That's one thing. And I like to loan out movies to friends. That's something I do quite a bit. So I have I have a big wall of Blu-rays. But at this point, I only buy things that I love. That's kind of the rule I set down for myself. And otherwise, I rent it. Because new things, if you want to see it once, you pay a couple bucks. You pay $3 or $4 on iTunes or whatever, and you rent it. And that's it. And then no more clutter in your house. So that's kind of how I'm balancing things. But I think the real interesting thing will be when more older back catalog stuff are on, if they're not on Netflix and not on Amazon or Hulu or something, if they're available for rent, that'll be less of a reason to keep them around.
You know what movie I saw that I actually should have mentioned during what we've been watching, but I didn't? And this is a double dip where I bought it on Blu-ray, but I already had it on DVD. Mm-hmm. And this whole time I've just been making all these statements about how horrible my film taste is. But I saw Saw 7.
Oh,
movie.
Man. Don't tell me.
So they were selling the entire Saw series, all 7 films, for $20, which is really
you would buy that,
which is really cheap. And also, not only that, it comes with the digital version of it too, on Ultraviolet. So I was like, oh my gosh, wow, that's
like every movie
that is a
out now.
bargain. That is a bargain, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, Dave,
Dave, you can also use those discs to saw your arm off.
it's just to get out of watching another Saw movie.
What were you going to say, Jeff?
I don't know if you know this about me, but I've never seen any Saw movie ever.
Oh.
So Britt Hayes, former guest on the show, and Brian Collins are doing this thing called the Great Saw Dialogue at Badass Digest, where they're watching every Saw movie and reviewing it. I think it's, I definitely recommend it. Go check it out. The Great Saw Dialogue at Badass Digest. And here's what I'll point out. I'll just point out a couple things. Okay? And I'll just say spoilers for the first two Saw movies. I'll say.
Sorry, Jeff.
You know what? Not worried about this one.
The first one is worth watching. I'll say that. The first
that's it. That's the thing I was going to say. Is the first one is surprisingly good. Like
no
just
desire to see any of those movies.
The premise is I think the premise is really good. It's low budget filmmaking. It's really effective.
Got James Wan started like that.
There's a lot to like there. It's not it's certainly not as torture porny as subsequent versions of the films.
Well, lest I be misunderstood, I do want to say I enjoy a good horror movie. I'm not just sort of anti-horror movies. Those movies I have no desire to see.
I wouldn't even call Saw 1 a horror movie so much. It's more of a thriller, I would say.
Yeah.
Anyway, first one is good. And actually, Saw 2 does have this really amazing twist in it, which I'm going to reveal because no one gives a crap. But in Saw 2, like every movie... So Saw 1 ends with this great twist. And so I think the idea is that they wanted to set it up so every single movie would have this amazing twist at the end.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, ends up being very often the same twist. It's literally a character standing at a door saying "game over" and then closing it. That ending is, I think, around 5 out of the 7 Saw movies ends in that exact way. But there's an amazing twist in Saw 2 where Jigsaw has trapped all these people in a house, and Donnie Wahlberg is watching them on monitors, and one of the characters is his son, and he's trying to get his son out of the house, and he's like threatening Jigsaw and saying, "You gotta give me back my son," kind of thing. And finally, Donnie Wahlberg beats up Jigsaw to the point where Jigsaw's like, okay, I'll take you to him. And they drive away off the site where the monitors are, and that's when you find out that it's not a live feed, that all that stuff on the monitors had happened like hours ago, and that is just like, even rewatching it, that is an awesome twist, guys. I mean, that is awesome.
Yeah.
And so there's
you have to be there.
There's there is some good stuff. There's some ingenuity.
You had me at Donnie Wahlberg.
There is some good ingenuity going on in the Saw franchise, but. I watched Saw 7, and not only does it look horrible because they tried to add this horrible 3D effect, that like the some characters are separated dramatically from the background, and it looks just awful if you're watching it in 2D. It just looks terrible, and it's all lit in this puke green. It's
scourge of 3D. Yeah.
But the plot is terrible. Like and as the movies went on, he seemed like he had this purpose. Jigsaw did for the beginning. I want to test your resolve to stay alive and that kind of thing. And as the movies went on, the traps that he would set or that his minions would set became so impossible that there's no way people were getting out of those things. It just
that's the trap, but that's the problem with any of these film franchises with Freddy is the same way. It starts out as one thing, and then in the treadmill of putting out sequels, it becomes a completely different thing.
Right. Final Destination. Oh, I mean, actually, that was always about killing people. But,
yeah.
Saw ostensibly could have been about people struggling to, test human resolve and stay alive. And then it just became about killing people. And most of the time when some guy encounters a trap and he tries to get him out of it, that person dies horribly, and it just becomes predictable. Where
it's the same thing.
90% of the time, the guy dies. So it's like, why are we even? Anyway,
yeah.
So
I don't want to make fun of you too much, though, Jeff, because I am eyeing the Final Destination Collection Blu-ray, which goes on sale tomorrow.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, the first 4 films. So I really like Final
that's too
Destination
bad.
2.
That is too bad because because actually the fifth film, which I recently bought, is a solid film.
I've heard.
Whereas Final Destination 4 is horrible.
Yeah.
Really bad.
I wouldn't mind owning 1, but 2 is genuinely great. So it's tough. I'm still tempted by
Where is this Final Destination collection?
It's on Amazon right now. I was just thinking for a while, I was like, I really should own Final Destination 2 on Blu-ray. And then I remember you liked 5, and then I saw this collection coming up. So I'm really sad that this collection doesn't include 5. Kind of a shame, because that would be a good reason to get this whole thing. But,
all right, you got to send me a link to this because I'm not seeing this online. Anyway. All right. Speaking of franchises, we learned this week what the new Fast and Furious movie would be called.
Sweet.
Furious 7, guys. Furious 7.
It's really slow. It's not fast anymore.
That's right. It's just angry.
They're just angry.
It's called angry. Furious 7 sounds like the name of a gang, actually. But
that's what they are at this point.
But you were saying, Devindra, correctly, I think the original title of Fast and Furious 6 was just Furious 6.
Yeah,
right?
and that's the title card of the film. Like, it doesn't say Fast and Furious 6 when that movie starts. It just says Furious 6.
They're just trying they're distilling Fast and Furious down to its most basic elements.
It's just going to be called 6, 8, Fate.
It'll be 8 Fs.
Yeah. Are you? So I'm kind of. It's kind of remarkable how far this franchise has come. Like, I just got an email today from a publicist about how they're rolling this out. There's going to be this huge trailer event, and there's going to be a Q&A with Vin Diesel and the stars of the film. And it is incredible, guys. How
many film franchises have the 5th and 6th editions been better than the 2nd and 3rd editions? You know, that's pretty rare.
That's remarkable. Rare. It's remarkable. I mean, and also. Fast and Furious 6 made, just so people remember, $788 million worldwide. That is incredible. Yeah. And it shows no sign of stopping. And especially, this is going to feature one of Paul Walker's last performances. People are going to turn out in droves for this.
I think it's going to be huge just for that reason too. It's going to be like a lot of people's goodbye to Paul Walker, but then you have Jason Statham here too joining the cast. So it's going to be insane.
It'll be a cathartic experience, you know. Yeah. We've been watching these movies for many years.
Oh, man. Since we were in high school, Dave.
Yeah. And so the idea that this is kind of like Paul Walker's goodbye, it's going to be emotional, I think, for me at least.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to it, and this will be. It's cool that the franchise is continuing its string of Asian directors making these films.
Directors you would not normally associate with action movies, like James Wan. Love James Wan. I'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what he does with action, like a straight action movie. I do have to say too, like Dave, I'm not sure about you, but I feel a little vindicated by the whole success of this franchise, because when Fast and the Furious 1 came out, that was a pretty dumb movie, but I loved so many aspects of it, especially Vin Diesel and a lot of the car stuff. Like it was just a really fun movie. The second was a huge disappointment, but I love that they were able to like revamp things for Tokyo Drift, and then just letting Justin Lin have his way and do his thing, and like Chris Morgan go crazy with the story. Like they've created something amazing.
Well, that's the thing. It's this franchise that's been able to reinvent itself. It didn't try to stick with the formula from the first and second films. It tried to, like, the fifth film was a heist movie, and the sixth film was a I don't even know what you want to call that, but it was not a heist movie.
You know what I called it on TRS? It's, I mean, I don't mean this in a derogatory way at all, but it's the Avengers for bros.
Yeah. It's very comic booky what they've built up.
These are superhero characters, and when we see one of them, it has as much impact as seeing, Iron Man or something. These characters are very much have their own mystique, have their own backstory and all this stuff, and when you
mythology,
combine them,
they have the mythology now. Yeah,
exactly.
But I think what's great about the series too is that it's not just for bros, Jeff. Like this appeals to all sorts of people, all sorts of demographics,
all genders, and it is a post-racial film.
Gotta love that.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. So, a couple things we got to discuss, and then we'll wrap it up here. Wanted to talk about this Fury email, but we can't really talk about it without spoiling it. So, and we also want to talk about this Avengers 2 trailer. I mean, Is there anything you need to say about the Avengers 2 trailer that necessitates Jeff leaving, Devindra?
I mean, it
about
depends. It depends on how much you want to stay. Like, I do want to say specific things, so it's up to you, Jeff.
All right, Jeff, why don't you
If you want to leave,
step out for like a minute,
plug your fingers in your ears
for 1 minute, and then come back, or 1 to 2 minutes. Okay.
Can I say my piece real quick before I leave?
Okay,
Real
so
quick?
wait. Let's some backstory. The Avengers 2 trailer, Age of Ultron, debuted this week, and
I think after it leaked online,
it leaked online, like a crappy version leaked online, and then
Yeah.
Marvel, very quick to the punch, they hit the button and published the official high quality trailer, and the entire internet went nuts. I watched it and enjoyed it. Jeff Kanata is maintaining his stance, which I completely respect, of not watching it. But we want to talk briefly about it. So, Jeff, what did you want to say?
So, it's going to be, thinking this movie's coming out, in May? This is going to be a long, terrible journey I'm about to embark on of trying to stay away from it. And that honestly will pale in comparison to Star Wars, which will be even more difficult for me to try to stay away, and more important personally for me to stay away from, because at least I know the comic book stories of these guys. This is Star Wars. I genuinely want to know nothing before I sit down. And I know it's going to be very difficult, especially doing this show with you guys, but just living in the culture we live in, right? Mm-hmm. But it prompted me to muse a little bit on the idea of trailers. And I think they're dumb. I fantasize about one day opening a film theater multiplex where the big advertisement is that there will be no trailers on these films.
Wait, you think the concept of trailers is dumb, or you think
in what other medium? Let's say I was advertising a book, and I just decided to take sentences from random parts of the book and throw them together in order to try to advertise. Well, let's say I was taking an album.
All right,
have you seen broadcast TV lately, Jeff? Because I've seen trailers for books all over the place, and they are terrible.
Jeff. I think you're taking your viewpoint a bit far, is all I'm saying. I mean, look, I understand you're not wanting to watch trailers, but the idea that trailers don't serve a really valid marketing function, I mean, awareness spikes dramatically for a film after the trailer is released.
I have no doubt. I'm not saying don't advertise your movie. I'm saying the way that I don't understand why we have to give the experience of seeing the movie before we see the movie.
You're just talking, okay, I mean, so
modern trailer culture, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff, you're advocating against a certain kind of trailer. You're not advocating against the concept of trailers.
I'm advocating against the idea of taking apart from the beginning, apart from the middle, and apart from the end, and showing it to you.
Yeah, okay, that's a kind of trailer. That is a kind of trailer. That is a type of trailer. That is not the concept of trailers.
Yeah, that's
what trailers are now.
That's what a lot of them are, but that's not. There are still really good trailers that don't give away that much.
The Nightcrawler trailer really hooked me into that movie, and I heard nothing about it. And that's just fantastically crafted. Like, really gets you into what that world is going to be. And we still get those, but it's very rare.
It's rare. It's rare for sure. But yeah, there are still good trailers that don't give away that much. We've praised them on the show occasionally, where it doesn't give away that much. And actually, I would argue that this trailer is one of those trailers.
Yeah. But it's actually reserved. And, Jeff, what's funny is that where the story is going. You've read the comics.
I don't want to see it.
Ditto the Mad Max Fury Road trailer, which tells you virtually nothing about the film, but makes that movie look incredible. So I disagree with your premise, Jeff, and I find your viewpoint completely without validity. Is what I'm trying to say.
I said good day.
I said good day, sir.
I will explain to you, and maybe some people can relate, the wonderful sense of relief I get once I've seen a movie and I no longer have to protect myself against it.
Oh, yeah. Jeff, I have not seen a single Interstellar trailer yet.
Neither have I. I don't even know the premise of
my favorite activity is coming home from a movie like Interstellar and watching the trailers.
I know 3 things about Interstellar. It stars Matthew McConaughey. It's directed by Christopher Nolan.
Whoa, it's directed by Chris Nolan?
And it has something to do with space.
You just gave it away. You just gave it away, Jeff.
Anyway, the at that point, when I finally seen a movie and I then don't have to run out of the room when a TV trailer comes out, I'm watching NFL football and I don't have to pause my TiVo to then skip forward past it. All the protective things that I don't have to do anymore. And then I watch the trailers for these things and I go, I can't believe people are seeing this. I can't believe people are seeing this.
But you know what? I feel like, isn't it sort of like a self-fulfilling prophecy? Because if you've like abstained, right? If you've been all monk-like for a while to avoid the certain thing, and you see the movie and then you go see the trailer, that is a very different experience because you have the full context of the film. So you know what those things mean versus somebody who just sees random shots flashing around.
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely. I agree.
All right, I will excuse myself, and I'm sure that I
hold on. Before you go, I haven't finished badgering you, Jeff.
Which is funny because normally I'm badgering Dave about his crazy trailer viewing habits.
Good day.
Here's the only thing I want to say. I was listening to the X-Files files, Kumail Nanjiani's podcast, and this is one of the earliest episodes, and he had on guest Dan Harmon. And they're talking about how there's some people who like to document the most bizarre, mundane things about TV shows. Right? They'll be like, oh, I need the shooting schedule for this episode. I'm filing away the shooting schedule for episode, season 3, episode 2, and I need you to send me a screenshot of it. Or they like that guy who
fans are asking for
the person who did Star Wars in completely alphabetical order. Like they broke down every single word from Star Wars. And
by the way, if you haven't watched that, it's an experience.
Right?
It is like you just look at time and effort in a tangible form. But go ahead.
So then. Kumail Nanjiani was saying how he thought that was ridiculous and monstrous, and how could you waste your time like that, and why are people nitpicking these things in such detail? And Dan Harmon made a very good point that I thought was very profound, and it stayed with me all this time, aka the last 3 months. But it will probably stay with me for a longer time after that. And he said, I know this is hard for you to understand, but for some people, that is what they would describe as enjoying it, or that's their way of enjoying something, right? Is to nitpick something to death, or in some people's case, to watch trailer and to get in the mindset of like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see this part that was in the trailer and so on.
Yes,
you and I might find that existence grotesque, Jeff, but it doesn't mean. It doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It doesn't mean that people don't live like that and that we should judge them for it. You know what I mean?
It's a different way of loving.
It's a different way of loving things.
I agree. I understand. I get it. And far be it from me to judge someone else's fun. We just did a story on DLC recently about this game called EVE Online, which is this intergalactic MMO.
Oh, yeah.
And there's this thing that these guys wrote, this piece of software these guys wrote that is – it is a spreadsheet that lets them manage that game, right? And there is nothing discernibly different between that and work that people go to every day and hate and get paid for. These guys do not get paid to do it, and they do it for fun. And we were talking on the show about what constitutes fun. And the only conclusion we could come to is that fun is in the eye of the beholder. Fun is what you make it. And yes, okay, if you enjoy watching a trailer, I'm not telling you it's wrong for you to enjoy a trailer.
Okay, you did come dangerously close to that, but continue.
No, I'm not. And
you said, here's a quote. I think you said something like, "How have people been watching this?"
What is wrong with them?
That does sound like me. That does sound like me.
That's my Jeff impression.
It's very, very accurate. I will say this. I feel that I don't think there's anything wrong with people watching it. I think there is something wrong with how hard it is for me not to watch it. I think that I'm bombarded by it, but that's another issue. Yeah. What I want to say about this is that I do feel that there is something inherently magical about storytelling that takes place when one does not know the story and does not know the methodology with which the story is about to unfold. And as someone who considers myself a storyteller and an enthusiast of storytellers, I value and try to protect that experience both for myself and for others. And when I see what could be an unexpected journey turn into a kind of unexciting thing because people knew what was happening, where they were headed, and when I hear people say things like, all the funny parts were in the trailer. Not for me. All the funny parts were in the movie for me. All the funny parts were in the movie.
Better. That movie
It does. It does.
No.
Dude,
by the way, if all the funny parts of a comedy are in the trailer, that is most likely not a great movie. I'd love to find an example where that isn't true.
The scene in Neighbors where the airbag goes off.
Yeah.
I hurt myself laughing in the theater. And I said to somebody, "Oh my God, did you not think that was the funniest thing ever?" He's like, "I saw it in the trailer on TV, out of context, without all that wonderful setup." And I'm like, the experience that I had
It sounds
in that one moment,
suspiciously like you're looking down on people, but continue.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not looking down on them. I am saddened that I had
They have an inferior experience watching the movie.
and are inferior people. That's what I'm saying, Dave Chen. Yes, they are worse than me.
It's funny that you brought that up though, Jeff, because I thought just seeing that scene in the trailer, it made me think Neighbors wasn't as good a movie, because it looked kind of cheap. It looked like a really silly effect. And even seeing it in the film, like in the full context, I just didn't think that gag was as funny as other things happening in the movie, which weren't in the trailer. So,
it came out of nowhere in a movie that really hadn't had physical gags like that. And it had been, I don't know. We're not talking about Neighbors right now, but I'm just saying that I will excuse myself. I'm sure all the email is going to be hating me, but that's
What's the address again?
/filmcast@gmail.com.
There we go.
All right, Jeff, step out for 90 seconds.
90
come
seconds.
back.
And
go. All right, Devindra, what do you want to talk about? Run it down.
I love the Spader. I love the Spader voice, although I think it gets his little monologue that he's giving throughout this whole thing feels dangerously close to what Ben Kingsley was doing with the Mandarin in Iron Man 3, and we all know that wasn't played entirely, to be serious. So I'm a little worried they're getting to the point of
self-parody.
Farce. Yeah, self-parody almost. But it looks good. I think we can see the seeds of what the story is going to be, and it also just looks a lot more. It just looks more well shot than the first Avengers. It looks like a more mature film, honestly.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. I think that the music they use is incredible. And of course, really the thing that everyone keeps talking about is the Hulkbuster. And that just looks totally badass. But the fact that that thing even exists kind of implies that a direction where the series is
There's
going.
a Hulk that needs to be busted.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think it looks incredible, and I can't wait to see it. So that is all I have to say. Anything else you want to bring up before Jeff comes back here?
Let's just waste some time. Let's.
No, I think it was a great trailer, and I think people will really like it. Jeff, are you there? Can you hear us? Come back to us, Jeff.
We lost him.
He's gone. He's taken off forever. Here's
is it secret? Is it safe?
Oh, you're back.
I really love it when Ultron did this.
Wait, who? All right. Anyway. All right. Final email of the day, and we have to say spoilers for Fury for this email. We've saved this for the end. Eric writes in, enjoyed your insight and opinions on the show, but I had some thoughts about the final scene of Fury that you may have overlooked. The importance of defending the Crossroads was poorly developed, but it was touched upon multiple times in the final act of the film. The Brad Pitt character hates the SS. He goes apeshit in their camp when one is paraded around and kills another one that was clearly surrendering. The Nazis that are seen coming to the Crossroads are deemed an SS troop. The Crossroads lead into the supply line of the Allied forces, which is undefended, as explained by the other rugged captain, which assigns the task to Brad Pitt. Also, the name of the movie is Fury, and the characters are bound to the tank, aptly named Fury, itself. They all mention it as their home at least one time, as well as to each other. Additionally, it can be argued that Brad Pitt and his crew have had enough of this best job they ever had, and want a warrior's death. Thus, if Brad Pitt allows his most hated enemy to cross into the town, he would be condoning the brutal torture and killing of the undefended supply town, which may have residual consequences in the war effort. This theory may be overlooked if you, the viewer, missed Brad Pitt's hatred of the SS, the undefended supply chain town, and that the Nazi marching force toward them being an SS troop. I noticed all three, and in making the connection, I thought the Rambo-esque fight made sense. End quote.
I mean, I'll say two of those points. Yeah, I think everybody hates the SS. You know,
it's hard to miss Brad Pitt's hatred of the SS.
It's just a thing. I do think the movie could have sold the importance of that strategic spot better. Like, it was kind of mentioned offhandedly.
It was mentioned by Jason Isaacs in like a second.
Yeah,
I think it was mentioned by me in our review.
Yeah,
Didn't I say that?
You mentioned it. You mentioned it, I think.
Yeah,
but it wasn't sold as well. I don't think the strategic value of like personally, like I do think like maybe they would have been better off like warning people that a shit ton of Nazis are coming their way to set up defenses with more soldiers, rather than 4 guys in a tank. But yeah, you have to have that.
I guess you had to be there, to make that call. But yeah, so fair enough, Eric. Wanted to say that fair enough. We didn't want to, I wanted to acknowledge that there are legitimate reasons for them to have behaved the way they did. So.
I just don't think it was sold. That's all.
I agree. All right. And with that, if anyone's still listening at this point, which I doubt, let's wrap it up. Jeff Kanata, where can people find more of your work on the internet?
The easy way is to follow me on Twitter. I'm at Jeff Kanata. That's with 2 N's and 1 T. You can check out my video game show DLC that I've mentioned a few times on this episode by going to 5by5. That's the number 5, BY5, .tv/DLC. Also a comedy show I do called We Have Concerns has been very popular. People are digging it. I hope you give it a shot. WeHaveConcerns.com.
Devindra Hardware.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at twitter.com/Devindra. I do a Legend of Korra podcast at republiccitydespatch.com. And, starting next week, you can find me on Engadget.com.
Nice.
Congrats. That's amazing.
Thanks, guys.
Very cool.
It's crazy.
Find my work at davechen.net and find the film I helped produce, Layover, at layoverfilm.com. Use promo code FILMCAST to receive $1 off. Get it for $6. Tune in next week. We'll be reviewing Nightcrawler. Thank you guys for listening to the official podcast of SlashFilm.com. We're out.